So that's the next morning. Next day, actually. And our paint's all dry. So that patch looks pretty good. Nice and solid. It's twice as thick as what the metal that was there, so. What we don't make up for in dexterity, we're making up for in bulk. And then I jumped over the other side, did this one. And this one took half the time to do because it was the second one. So now we just got to get ready to start shooting some oil up inside this thing. Get it all sealed up, nicey nice, like a little moisture barrier. But before I do that, I want to get the rear differential filled. I let that kind of cure overnight too with the sealer that was on it. And that's running a limited slip differential, so you have to put I think what they call it. It's an additive, of course, but friction something. It allows the plates, the clutches, to I think to engage and disengage, and not to chatter when it does it. I believe is the idea of it. So that kind of goes in first, and we're just going to top it off with straight gear oil and then get that capped off. Let me get that sucker filled up, and we'll start getting some lube on this thing. Well, the rear's full of oil. I want to make sure that it never ever rots out again. So, old yard sale lubricating grease container where the grease looks kind of funky, but it's going to serve the purpose for us, I guess. So, we are going to massage that guy in before I oil the underneath of the truck. I'm going to rub this into all the little crevices. Probably could have done without the paint, but oh well. I like baking a cake. And again, I'm just making a moisture barrier is the idea. You can make it so no oxygen or water can get through it. It won't rot. So that's what we are here for. This is never rot out. It's way too thick. That should do it. Ain't she purty? And that'll get all dirt stuck to it, and I'll just have like a crust. What kind of form on it? I gotta figure out how to shut you off without getting you gooey. So I took the old gear oil that was in there, but it was only in there for again a month. And I'm gonna see if I can use that up. So I want to take that and I'm gonna see if I can try heating it up before I thin it, and see if we can run that in the gun. And I'm gonna try to use that and fill the frame rails, the insides of the frame rails, with that, as it's inside the rails really doesn't have a problem with washing off. It's more the external. But I think we can kind of use that up for a good purpose. Plus it's nice and thick. Let's see if it's even warm. Yeah. There you do anything. I'll let that cook for another minute or two, and then see how that goes. Works pretty good. There we go. See in there. So that should be it, other than cleaning up the mess. Roughly about 2 gallons has gone on this. I really wanted to soak it really good. And inside the rocker panels and inside the frame rail, I just nailed it. So it's, of course, you know, dripping out of those big time. But that's the idea. And then as you kind of drive it and then you go up and down the hills and stuff, it kind of will slosh around and should pickle everything quite well. And she is one shiny mess now. And that's kind of what you want. And dust will stick to it and kind of give it so, you know, it won't be shiny anymore. It'll just turn to like a dull matte kind of finish looking to it. I wiped the exhaust off best as possible. Of course, my phone's ringing right now. Bob's gonna have to wait. The wipe down on the exhaust, like I said, and you try to avoid it, but you know, it kind of goes everywhere. And I'll take it out and I'll run it. A couple little 15-minute runs will let it burn off the exhaust a little at a time. You still want the cats to get real cooked, you know. Stayed away from the brakes. But everything else is pretty, that's fluid film. I missed a spot here, so I came back with a can of fluid film and just kind of shot it in there. That's why it's that white looking color. But the rails are what I really pickled. Here's where the repair is. You look quick, you wouldn't even notice. 10 feet away standing up, you won't even see it. Stayed away from the suspension components for the most part, except for where the heavy casting stuff is. Of course, you cover the brakes and all. Stay away from the serpentine belt in the front. But this is what it seems to work for me for trying to save our vehicles. Here's the repair on that side. It's dark, you can't see a thing, right? And then yeah, you can see it dripping out of the cracks in here because I went up inside this and shot it. It's probably a good 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of that stuff kind of splashing and rolling around inside there, and you know, it's just kind of dripping out between the seams, which is perfect because that's what you want to stop that stuff from happening, you know. The bulb that you're seeing up in the rocker, you see that's a rust spot from the inside. So that's it. Gotta go get the spare tire up and under it and get the other tires back on, and then this thing will be able to go for a road test. Well, that's nice and quiet. Couldn't tell you if it's leaking or not, though. I greased the dry shaft while I had it out. Burn a little bit of smoke off the exhaust right now. You know it's a dirty job when you throw your clothes away when you're done. See Mike Rowe come over here. I'll show you a dirty job. Alright guys, I think this is going to wrap this one up. I might do a little add-on riding down the trail or something tomorrow in 4-wheel drive, but I think we're good to rock and roll. A success. Alright guys, the dreaded, or I should say dreaded, the long-awaited test drive. We are in 2-wheel drive. Figures all the traffic picks up right when you're ready to leave. Alright. So far so good. You guys are commenting about the getting the frame replaced from Toyota. That's over with. There is no that was their fix. They brought your truck in, there was a recall, they would go underneath, they'd whack it with a hammer. If the hammer didn't go through the frame, they would just undercoat it with that black stuff, and that's what you got. No recourse after that. They said they've done what they can do. Your your frame rots out after that point, you're done. You own it. And that's what the gentleman who owned this truck ran into. He did exactly what I said. Probably 2 years prior, had that frame looked at. I bet you at that time, if he whacked the frame with a hammer at that point, and it had a point on it, it would have went right through. It didn't fail that fast in the last 2 years. It was a long, over the truck is 12 years old, 13 years old, going on 13. So, it was going along that whole period of time. So 80% of the damage was probably already at that point, already there. And it's just kind of the way to get around it, my opinion. So he went and he bought a newer Tundra, the new style, second generation. I think 09 he purchased. And they gave him a few bucks off at the dealership, I guess, when they bought that, or so they said. And they ended up with the new truck, and he sold this one for whatever he can kind of get out of it. They wouldn't pass it for inspection due to the frame rust that was on it, and by the time he paid for the rear and I guess get a frame replaced on it, it was no longer feasible for him. But for me, that was fine. I figured I'd go find a rear end. And as far as welding up frames, if you guys watch my channels for a bit, I've probably done, in my lifetime, I've probably done about at least 100 frame repairs, and I've not had an issue with any of them. So I don't think we're going to have one with this. I think the rest of it will have issues probably 5 years from now. But again, that's all I'm looking for. I'm into this truck for a grand total of $3,200. It's got 170,000 miles on it. It was pretty much just a commuter truck, and then he used it for farming around his garden and getting firewood. That's where all the little dings and dents are. So I cannot complain at all for what I got out of it. And it's will serve its purpose for what I need. So again, thanks guys for watching. I'll probably turn you back on when I get on the highway. Let's see how we do. We're at 60 right now. Quiet, no noise coming from the rear. A little bit of a shimmy. I got to pick up 2 lug nuts. I'm missing 2 lug nuts. One on each. There's 6 lug wheels. Each one of those is missing one on that side. I'm sure that doesn't help the wheel balance out at all. Seems pretty good. Go put it in 4-wheel drive and see what that does to slow down though. Tuck in behind the truck. You're not supposed to really kind of do them over 50, but I think we're at 60 right now. Let's go. I went right in. We're 4-wheel drive now. Take her back out. Came back out. We're good. One happy truck. Bargain, I tell you, it's a bargain. Bob's doing a little sweat equity on his car. Made him crawl on his wheel well to connect his gas line. Sporting some new white walls. Porta walls. That's his old tank. And the pets rotted out in it. And then the fuel that was in it was just more than rust than it was fuel. Put that on new. You guys can see it's blown out right there. So that's all junk. That should be a screen. Too good. So he's thinking about taking the tank and having it dropped off at a radiator shop and cleaning it. Although he has a new tank in there. This is the original one with the large gas inlet. Wash the windshield.
Shit. Oh, my mechanic sucks.
Yeah. Hold on. Hold on.
Yep.
Tires a little lumpy. One of the tires a little lumpy, huh? Bias ply. They warm up a little bit. Warming up. The tires are warming up now. They're getting a little more smoother. Just make it right into here. Is it drush?
Yeah.
They work.
Yeah, but nobody see the freaking thing. Oh, it's a pleasure driving this thing. I like it.
Boing, 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 boing. I stay out of fourth at 30 miles an hour. I keep it clunk. That's all you hear is that guy.